Welcome to Help My Biz. At Help My Biz, we provide simple solutions to help your business grow. Today we are going to discuss a very common topic but which might be complicated to many people. This is the provisions of TDS which are given under the Income Tax Act. We'll try to simplify it as much as we can. So without any further delay, let's get started. So what is TDS? TDS is one of the most important areas in income tax. Through TDS, a portion of the tax is paid directly to the Income Tax Department. Any person making a specified payment mentioned under the Income Tax Act is required to deduct the TDS and is also required to deposit the tax to the government within the stipulated due dates. The different types of payment include the salary payments, the commission and brokerage, professional fees, income on securities, and many others. So next is what is TAN. Most of us have come across the word TAN, so let me explain the same. TAN, the full form of TAN is Tax Deduction and Collection Number. TAN is a mandatory 10-digit alphanumeric code that is to be obtained by all the people and entities who are responsible for the deduction of tax. Salaried individuals are not required to deduct TDS or obtain a TAN number. In case of corporate and non-corporate entities, TDS is required to be deducted while making certain payments like salary, payment of rent if the rent exceeds 2.4 lakhs per annum, payment to contractors, etc. Entities having valid TAN are required to file TDS returns quarterly. Our TDS experts can help in the computation of TDS and ensure compliance with the various TDS rules and regulations. Please feel free to check out our website www.helpmybiz.in. Next we come to what are the due dates for TDS return filing. The due dates are divided into two parts. First is the due date for the payment. The payment is to be made on the 7th of the next month. Second is the due date for the TDS return. The TDS returns contain the entire details of the parties along with the PAN numbers, address and many other things which are required to be filed quarterly. The table below or the table given on the screen shows the due dates for the filing of the return. As we can see, the first quarter return, the period for which is from 1st April to 30th June and its last date of filing is 31st July 2021. The second quarter, which ends on 30th September and its last date is 31st October 2021. For the third quarter is 31st Jan 2022 and for the fourth is 31st May 2022. Quite simple, isn't it? Now we come to the process of filing a TDS return on the income tax website. The first and the foremost step is go to the URL given on the screen and click on login. Second is enter your credentials and click login. Your user ID shall be the TAN number provided to you. The third step is that go to the e-file tab, navigate to income tax forms, go to deduction of tax at source, form TDS given in the brackets, and then click on let's get started. The fourth step will be the crucial one. You will be given a form where you have to fill in the requisite information. Once the details are selected and the FVU file has been attached, click on proceed to verify. The fifth and the final step is you can e-verify via the EVC, that is the electronic verification code, or DSC, that is the digital signature certificate. Next we come to what are the different forms of TDS. As is visible on your screen, the first form is Form 24Q. This is to be filed quarterly and this statement contains all the salaries which are to be given to your employees. The second is Form 26Q. This is also to be filed quarterly and this contains a statement other than salaries. Obviously these includes rents, commission and brokerage, professional fees, contracts, etc. Next is the Form 27Q. The periodicity remains the same, that is quarterly, and this is the statement of TDS from payments made to non-residents. Next is the Form 27EQ, which is also to be filed quarterly, and this is the statement for collection of TCS, that is tax collected at source. Now we come to some of the important TDS provisions for the financial year 2021. We have to keep in mind that these are very few and selected provisions which have been given, as giving all the provisions is out of scope of this video. As is available on your screen, we start with section 192, that is the payment of the salary income. The threshold limit shall be as per the income tax slab and the TDS rate shall also be as per the slab. Next is 194A, that is interest payment on interest other than securities like interest on bank deposits, interest on loan and deposits, etc. The threshold limit is rupees 10,000 in case the TDS payer is a bank or any banking institution. Rupees 5,000 shall be in any other cases. The TDS rate is 10%. 194C, payment made to contractors and subcontractors. This is one of the most common provisions that you will ever come across. And the threshold limit for the same is rupees 30,000 for single payment and rupees 1 lakh for annual payments. The TDS rate shall be 1% for individual and HUF, but 2% for others, that is companies and corporate entities. Next we come to another important common provision, that is 194J, payment of royalty, technical or professional services. These also include the audit fees which are given to the auditors. This threshold limit is rupees 30,000 per annum and the TDS rate is 10%. 194H, that is the payment of commission or brokerage. The threshold limit is 15,000 and the TDS rate is 5%. 194I, another common one. It is used for the rent, but it has been divided into two parts. The first is the land or building or furniture or fixture which has been given on rent. The threshold limit over here is 2,40,000 and the TDS rate is 10%. For the rent of plant and machinery, the threshold limit remains the same, that is 2,40,000, but the TDS rate has been reduced to 2%. 194N, annual cash withdrawal from all accounts with a bank or cooperative society or post office. The threshold limit is 1 crore and the TDS rate is 2%. Now coming to some of the newer and important sections. This includes 194IA, that is TDS on immovable property. The threshold limit is 50 lakhs and the TDS rate is 1%. 194K, TDS on income in respect of units of mutual fund. The threshold limit is just 5,000 and the TDS rate is 10%. Lastly, we have 194Q, the buyer paying any sum to a resident seller for purchase of goods. The threshold limit is 50 lakhs and the TDS rate is a mere 0.1%. Coming back to our PPT, we start with some of the FAQs on TDS. The first one is, what is the TDS certificate? A TDS certificate will be furnished after the TDS is deducted by the deductor. TDS certificates other than salaries are issued every quarter, while TDS certificates for salaries are issued on an annual basis. In case the deductee loses possession of a certificate, a duplicate TDS certificate can be issued. The second is, what is the penalty for failure to file the TDS return? Failure to file the TDS return before the due date, the fine for this is rupees 200 per day until the time the refund is continuing. For TDS return not filed or filed incorrectly, the penalty shall be rupees 10,000 up to rupees 1 lakh. We have to keep in mind that 30% of the sum payable shall be disallowed as business expenses when you shall be filing your income tax return. Third FAQ is, can TDS return be revised? The answer is yes, TDS return can be revised if errors are detected, like there is an incorrect challan or the PAN has not been provided or incorrect PAN has been provided. Amount deducted shall not be correctly reflected in the deductee's Form 16A or Form 26AS. The fourth one is TDS required to be deducted while purchasing immovable property? The answer over here is yes, as per section 194IA. TDS is required to be deducted at the rate of 1% if consideration is more than rupees 50 lakhs. And finally, we have how is TDS on salary calculated. This is one of the most common and one of the most confusing areas when most of the people are not quite sure how the TDS on salary is calculated and deducted. Over here, the employer deducts TDS on the employee's salary at the average rate of income tax. The estimated total income of the employee is calculated beforehand, and when it is divided by 12 months, the TDS is to be deducted every month can be easily calculated. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video, please feel free to check out the other videos on our channel. Also do check out our website www.helpmybiz.in. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you and have a very nice day.